Hello everyone and welcome back to another dev stream. Let us know in the chat if you can hear us.
Hey.
So my name is Pyrit. I am the community manager for Vigor and I'm here with Pettka, our project lead. And today we are obviously going to talk a lot about Season 2 and answer any questions that you might have. So do not forget to put your questions in the chat and let's go. So what's new?
There's obviously a ton of new things with the major update. One of the biggest things that you can notice like right after you run the game is that there's a new season of Battle Pass. So this season is called Hunters, and it has the right reason to do so because there's a new Hunter's outfit, for example, completely new 50 levels of Battle Pass with new rewards, including, for example, crossbow, the new knife, the John. And we are even returning the old Mosin Nagant back. So if you want to give it a try, you would need to get it in some airdrop crate. So yeah.
Exactly. So obviously Battle Pass is the biggest new thing. But other than that, there are also two new tools. We have made a bullet penetration revision, some character camera and combat polishing, and a lot more. So if you are interested in knowing more, definitely check out the whole changelog. It is up on our forum and also on our website, and we will run through it and do it during the stream also. So make sure to stay tuned.
The easiest way how to get into the changelog is obviously to start the game, and now you have the X button that you can just press, and it drives you directly to our forums, to the changelog.
Exactly.
So the post that Pyrit already mentioned.
So anyway, guys, let us know in the chat how do you enjoy all of the new things so far. If you had the chance to play it or not yet, let us know in the chat. So let's see. Anything? Anyone had a chance to play?
Or not yet?
Or not yet.
Like,
maybe not.
There's a ton of changes in many regards. Like some of them are still like work in progress. Like for example, some of you may have noticed that we changed the third-person camera, which is when you are holding the gun. It gets a bit closer to your shoulder, puts you a bit off to the side, so that changes the perspective. But this is something that is part of our ongoing work to make it even better, to make the aim point aiming at the same direction all the time. So if you are shooting at someone and switching the shoulders, you are still going to hit those guys if you are able to hit them.
Exactly, and as Pettka said, it is something we are still looking forward to improving, so keep the feedback coming regarding this one, because we want to hear it and tweak it according to your feedback. So make sure to keep it coming, and we already have some people in the chat. Let's see, someone already played after new update. I'm playing while watching the stream. Oh, that's so nice. Gun says, I will buy this season battle pass. Thank you so much. Glad to hear. Glad to hear. Anyway, any complaints, any feedback so far?
Yeah, like we realized with the previous battle pass that it's maybe too hard. It was really difficult to get the top rewards, and only a handful of people were able to do so. So congratulations to them, definitely. Like they've done a great job in getting all the rewards. This time it's going to be much easier to have a bigger portion of you being able to hit level 50 and get all the rewards because we make those for you, obviously.
Exactly.
We even changed the way the XP is gained, so let's head to some encounter and see what are the ways how to get the XP. Currently, you may have noticed that I already got some rewards, so it's even symbolized here under the display. So now I have the common crate that I can possibly open, and the servers are already being prepared. So I'll open it after the battle.
Also, we have a question if we can eventually explain the 2 new tools to the people that haven't got the chance to play and try them out just yet.
Yeah, that's a really good question because the 2 tools, the fake glint and the portable signals detector, changed the gameplay a lot, I would say. I use them every now and then. I'm not such a great hunter, but as far as I've seen from the players here at the office who are able to adapt the hunting pattern, they use them a lot. Like the fake glint is used to bait someone out because you put it somewhere and then it looks like there's someone looking through the scope. So people get there trying to get the sniper or something like that, and they expose themselves to some flank attack or something like that. So it's for you to make some clever tactics.
Exactly, it's more of a strategic tool, while when it comes to the portable detector, well, it's kind of strategic also, but it makes it much easier to find the closest Outlander to you, basically. So it should be better for you if you have it.
Yeah, like usually, as far as I've seen, people use it when they go for the exit, just to check if there's some camper around, so they counter the camper because they know that there's someone. It just displays the closest person, so if you possibly use the radio signal, the fake one from the previous season, it's going to be the thing that's going to be shown instead of you, so you can position that and play more tactically.
So I see one question. So first of all, did you take away the XP you get when you upgrade a shelter? I don't know.
I just got the XP for completing the daily challenge, I think. So yeah, the upgrading of the shelter doesn't provide XP anymore because hunters are not that much into making the shelter. They are more into clean kills. So that means that, for example, the XP for killing has been reduced, but the XP for headshots, for the clean kills, has been increased drastically. So if you are able to score some nice headshot, then you are going to get a hefty amount of XP. But on the other hand, if you want... Yeah.
Ooh, that was fast.
That was nice.
Congratulations.
Wow.
And we can jump to another question. Can I ask why you guys took the permanent leaderboard way on food? Grinded it almost since game started to get that hard work took away. Why didn't you guys just add the new one and keep the permanent one also?
That's the thing that we are working together with our partners at Microsoft, because if you are, for example, the insider, you already know the answer, because then you have the new dashboard, and in the new dashboard you can select which stats would you like to see and which stats would you like to display. So I'm now able as an insider to check both my long time stats from the first season of Charity Box and even the most recent one. So I'm able to check both thanks to that. Yeah. So it's not that we remove that. It's just not displayed directly in the game because we would like to have the most recent leaderboard available for you directly in the game, and other leaderboards are available for you in the dashboard. One thing that you may have noticed here in the reward screen is that I've got the XP even for the chemicals that I looted. So that's one of the big changes that we made, that some of the resources award you with XP not only while extracting with them, but even for the act of looting them. So if you loot them, you're able to get the XP as well. If you are killed afterwards, you still get at least some XP for looting.
So, XXX XX is asking, my friend gave me a battle pass code since he is a Vigor partner, and I typed the code in, everything was fine, but when I got on battle pass in game it says buy the battle pass. That's why your friend, the Vigor partner, gave you a code for the first season of battle pass. The codes are always different depending on the season.
Yep.
So this is most likely the reason. I'm sorry about that. Any new maps, sizes, or team sizes of raids in the works? We are definitely working on new maps. Hopefully I will be able to show you a little sneak peek really soon. And when it comes to other works, we have something really exciting, but cannot share anything else right now. So stay tuned.
Yeah, like with the previous season, you may have noticed that there are regular small updates during the season, like minor ones. Now we are going to keep that pace, and pretty soon there should be the first update which is going to provide you with some additional things that we were working on, but they weren't polished enough for us to release it just right now.
Exactly. So stay tuned for next minor update.
There are so many hunters around, that's cool to see.
This outfit actually looks really, really nice, and especially in the trailer, it looks so cool. I love the trailer so much.
Did you notice the sound? It's changed with the season.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
There were actually some audio changes, some more audio changes. Also, the footsteps were tweaked, which is something that you guys were asking a lot about. So the sound of the footsteps was tweaked with this update.
Like there were some issues, mostly in the duos, that you heard the footsteps of your duo partners too loud. So we changed that. There were some issues on our side in the settings, so we just tweaked that to make it better. Thanks a lot for the feedback. Like it helps us to tweak the game, make it as good as possible.
Exactly.
For you.
So as I always say, keep it coming.
Yeah.
So any questions, put them in the chat right now. You know the drill. If you have a question, right now is the right time to ask. Someone was mentioning the crossbow, that they find it pretty nice. Thank you so much for that.
Wow, I'm glad to hear that.
Exactly, like it was also nice to see all of the feedback from our partners.
Yeah.
If you do not know already, right now we have a new program for our partners. It is the update preview program, and basically we always give them the builds so they can try them in advance. So if there's update happening, we will give them the update build a little bit in advance, and they are allowed to stream it, capture it, and share it with you, basically. Yep. And you can get an idea of what we are working on and maybe give us an early feedback and stuff like that. So that's really nice. And the list of the partners that currently have access to the update preview is on our forum, so make sure to check it out.
Indeed. Like soon you are going to see even the changes that we've mentioned that are coming. Like we are now polishing them for the release to the partners first, and then if everything goes well, those changes are going to go public. If not, we may need to tweak it and change it still. So yeah,
exactly.
Don't take those things in the partners build for granted yet. Like we are working on several things to make the game even better. So.
Cook Martinez, I have a question concerning the blue logboxes found around maps. Is it possible in the future to add a red logbox that requires, let's say, 6 numbers combination to open and gives you way better loot, like exclusive guns or big stacks of materials? We'll make sure to discuss it, and we will see what the future will bring.
Indeed. Like, this is something that we were already thinking about, changing the way how the logs work. There are too many people around. Yeah, this is something that we are already prototyping, like the things like having different logs and stuff like that. Still, we didn't find the best solution that would be enjoyable. So this is something that we need to iterate on, and eventually, as soon as we find the right solution, we'll let you know in the game.
Are there any plans for trading loot? There could be a trading spot marked on each map, so duos can trade loot between each other, but run... Ah, someone's shooting. So basically, when it comes to trading, as I always said and say, it would mess up with the economy in the game. Trading would give unfair advantage. However, we are looking into some possibilities to make the duo matches more enjoyable.
Indeed.
And so you can maybe, exchange some items, not all of them, so we will still avoid the unfair advantage, but your duo partner will still be more helpful.
Yeah.
So that's something we are working on right now, so stay tuned for that. But no trading and definitely no dropping items.
Exactly. Like there are other possible ways how to convey something to your partner. Like, for example, there can be things like healing, stuff like that. If you are able to make it right, because currently we were prototyping something like that, but it wasn't working as it should. So fingers crossed that we are going to make it right.
So, any more questions? Any more questions? Let us know. Silly Mom, thank you to the devs for all your hard work. It's good to finally see your faces. You guys work so hard all the time, and we notice. Oh, thank you so much. That's so
cool.
sweet.
Yeah. I'm happy to hear that.
So, I don't see any questions. So I will quickly jump onto the changelog just for a little bit.
Yeah.
So basically you can find the changelog on our website right now, and here's everything you need to know. Obviously on our website there is no place where you can share your comments, so if you want to comment under the changelog, definitely go onto our forum.
Yes.
Because there's space for that, or you can always leave your feedback under any of our posts on social media. We are on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Reddit. We have a forum. We are pretty much everywhere. So make sure to keep it coming. And also Discord.
And direct on Xbox as well. Like,
yes.
You can see our posts, and there's a ton of people interacting with them. So we are happy for all the feedback. Thanks a lot for that.
Question. Do you think there is ever going to be some changes to the maps already in the game? New buildings, new loot spots, because some of the old maps seem more empty compared to the Borderland bridges.
Like, this is something that we are considering. We need to find a way how to do that properly.
Ooh, that was so close. Well,
that's my bad. But yeah, good kill.
That was really nice.
Yeah. I was too aggressive.
Any info on... did I manage to answer the question? Yeah, it was about new stuff on the maps. We are considering our possibilities, but there might be some changes we would love to do.
Yeah.
And something is already being tested currently, so you will see. You will see how it goes. We will let you know soon enough.
Like, one thing that's not that much mentioned in the changelog yet, but it should help with teaming, is that we've decreased the possibilities of that. We didn't solve that completely. Like, during the last stream, you may have heard that this is something that we are working on. We are still working on additional things to prevent that, because one thing is that we like teaming, like naturally teaming in the game, but preparing outside of the game and then going into the map in a huge teams is not something that we are in favor of. So this is something that we would try to reduce, and there's going to be some solutions for that in the future as well. But you may possibly notice some of the changes already in.
Hopefully, you can see some of the changes. Is the footsteps back? Lol. That kangaroo hop sucked and is trading fixed also, as that's messed up. So as I said, footsteps have been tweaked, so they are back to normal.
The same goes to the trading. Like you may have noticed that we traded the kills in this instance, but we found several things that shouldn't be there, and we fixed them. So the issue should be much better now. We have some data about that, so we know when people kill each other, and based on the data, previously there was something that was not intentional from our side. So we did some tweaks and changes that should prevent that, and hopefully it's going to be much better for you.
I have seen an interesting question which we haven't addressed yet in any of our streams, which is people want to wear their outfits that they have purchased, for example, in the Outlander pack and stuff like that separately, like for example only the headgear and stuff like that. And that's something that I think we have never mentioned, but basically those packs and those outfits are always made to be this way. They are made so everything matches and everything looks perfect together. So we really do not want to mix those items with other outfits, but also the outfit is made as one whole outfit. Those are not separate items. So if we wanted to make the outfits be like changeable, we would have to change them completely, because right now there is one item, the outfit. It's not like headgear, t-shirt and trousers. So this is what makes it, you know, hard to do. We will look into the possibilities in the future. Definitely, we will keep it in mind, but for now, the Outlanders outfits are just the way they are, and there is nothing we can do about it.
Exactly, like this is something that we may investigate in the future. Like, feel free to keep the feedback coming, because if we know that there's many of you who would like to do so, then we are going to prioritize this thing over others. Yeah, this is something that we can possibly work on. It's something that would take some amount of time that would be needed elsewhere. So we need to prioritize the things, and based on your feedback, we'll know that you want this over something else.
Exactly. Someone is asking, is the outfit you're wearing in game from before season 1? The outfit we are wearing is outfit from our Outlander pack. It is called the Green Death. Yeah, exactly. Grand Dot. Dot,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how it's pronounced in Norwegian. But you can purchase it as of now.
Yeah, like the previous one looked a bit different, and it's gone. But this one's going to stay for a while, and then eventually we may have different Outlanders pack or something like that. So we'll let you know in advance if it's going to be replaced, as we did with the previous one. So if you want to buy it, feel free to do so. And if you like how it looks, as we do, feel free to give it a try.
Any chance of rolling left or right while in prone?
This is something that we've considered. The biggest issue is possibly with keeping the gun straight, because if you are trying to roll with the pistol, it's much easier than if you are trying to roll with the machine gun.
That's right.
So rolling with the machine gun is not that big idea, I would say. I'll test it for you. So yeah, this is something that we need to carefully consider if it's something that we are able to do properly. Yeah. So this far, we don't count on any rolling. You can still move sideways, so that should help, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here you go. We have a little bit of spam going on, so we have questions. Is there any chance of private matches?
This is something that we considered. And currently it's not something that we are working on because the private matches is a great thing to have for influencers, streamer, people like that, or people who would like to try something. On the other hand, for the majority of people, it doesn't provide additional things. So rather than doing that, we are now focusing on making different ways how to enjoy the encounters, and this is our priority at the moment. Indeed, we've considered just having the possibility to have the match or the encounter, to be precise, in which everything that you do doesn't count, and that would be something like custom games or something like that. Currently, it's just the idea that we had in mind. It would be great for mostly the influencers because they would be able to capture everything that they would like, and they are doing extreme job in that regard. Like already, like the possibilities and the videos that they've managed to capture. That's really cool. Like I really enjoy checking on the community content.
Yeah, some of the videos are so cool, and even when it comes to like about the things they cover, Half Metal Fox had a great video which I even shared in our community spotlight about if Vigor is going to survive 2020, and it was really nice. It was really refreshing to see the different perspectives people may have, so the whole team really appreciated the video actually.
Yeah, like if there's anything like that, it gets shared in the team really quickly, and remember that we are checking most of the social networks for any content, so most likely if you post it anywhere, it's going to be registered by the team and then discussed by the team as well.
The School Smasher, yeah, I remember you from Twitter. So the School Smasher won our last week community corner, and I was actually not able to DM you on Twitter. I think you have the DMs like locked, that people you don't directly follow cannot DM you or something like that. So I thought that you will be able to DM us so you can get the code. But basically, I will contact you in the Twitter thread that we were discussing this, and I will give you a direct contact so we can sort this out. So please stay tuned. I will do that after the dev stream.
Exactly.
Let's see. How about different spawns for signal detector, birdhouse, com station? Also different drop locations for airdrop.
Like every map contains several of those spawn points. Like I think it's over 20 per each map. So every time you play the map, it may be a bit different. It may be the same. Because randomness is just that, randomness. Like it can be that every time you play Grondheim volley, the airdrop is going to be spawned in the same place. On the other hand, it can be that every time you play, it's completely different. Yeah, so that's how the random stuff work. We are already adding new buried cache places. So if you were able to memorize all of them, suddenly
you won't be anymore.
you won't be anymore, or possibly you will be. Good for you. That's the skill.
Yeah, but that would be a lot of skill actually.
Yeah. Like there's over 20 per each map, so roughly 150 of them in total.
Yeah.
Like if you are able to memorize all of them, good for you, I would say. Yeah, like then you have some advantage over the people who don't, and that's something that I would consider a skill.
Exactly. Any plans for new gameplay mechanics on the horizon? I have talked to some players who are near max shelters and feel like they are just in a repetitive loop. So I would definitely suggest trying out Battle Pass because that's really nice if you want to see your progression and you are already maxed out in the shelter. We're obviously looking into other aspects that might keep you interested and and might keep the gameplay exciting. So stay tuned for that. Something really interesting is coming your way in the next update, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah. Like, we are always thinking about the ways how to improve the game, considering if those ways are actually fun to play, if the gameplay is enjoyable, and if it matches with the rest of Vigor, because sometimes we think of the things that are not matching that well. So that's why I mentioned at the very beginning that if there's something in the partner's build, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be something that goes out, because we may possibly realize based on the partner's feedback that this is something that doesn't fit in the game at all. Yeah, like we need to test the ideas and see if it works in the wild.
Exactly. So as I always say, if you are posting any type of feedback, it always helps us so much. Oh, someone's there. It always helps us so much if you can keep the feedback as detailed as possible and as descriptive as possible. So usually when you are just saying fix weapons, it's not going to do much. We can obviously reflect, discuss it, but if you say this exact weapon is doing this, and I don't like it because of this, then we are most likely going to really look into it, and it will be much faster and much smoother.
Yeah, that's something that we are looking to do all the time. Like, if there's anything broken in the game, our priority is to fix it. Yay, a new battle puzzle. Yay. Finally, I'm going to try Mosin yet again.
Hi guys, so I'm not sure if you watch the content that comes from VSL, but I've heard a number of complaints from people regarding the language and information in the patch notes. In particular, many people have asked to see the changes to each specific weapon when it comes to balancing of gunplay. So is it possible to tell us which guns were changed and how?
This is really difficult to do properly because there's a ton of changes. It goes through several rounds of testing, so sometimes it's not as easy to just mention them all. You've already seen the changelog now, like it's long, yeah. And if we were mentioning every changes, even the small ones, to the weapons, then it's going to be endless. That's one thing. The other thing is that usually we tweak the settings there and back, which means that there's going to be several changes in both the directions, and in the end it can even confuse you more than the other way around. Like if we increase the accuracy by 5 and then decrease it by 2 and then multiply it by 7, I don't know where it ends.
Yeah, that's the thing, you know, the changelog is definitely not a complete internal changelog, because that would be like, as Pettka said, infinite. There are tons and tons and tons of informations, and as Pettka said, sometimes it even like is in the contrary, like we tweaked this, but then we tweaked it back, and it gets really confusing. Yeah. Too much information, and usually what is not included in the changelog is so small and so insignificant that it doesn't have to necessarily to be there. I will make sure to focus in the future more on the weapon side, but there's not much we can do. It would take so much time, so much effort, and in the end, I don't think it will be worth it.
Yeah, like generally speaking, you can try everything on your shooting range on your own. Like those strawmans are representative of what the Outlanders can withstand. So yeah, then you can clearly see what are the effects that you do. What are the effects of your shooting? So that's much better than having some nearly random numbers. Like it's not random. It is all the numbers have their own meanings. We are even considering adding more of them directly available in the weapon selection, so you can distinguish the weapons more, check better if the accuracy is higher or not, if the rate of fire differs, the recoil pattern and stuff like that. But we need to think of a way how to convey this information in some sensible way so it's readable. Like the recoil is 35. 35 what? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It's really hard to make it like easy to understand for people outside of the company. So that's a shame.
Yeah. Like we know what units are those 45, but it's really hard to convey that information to anyone outside of the team.
This might be pretty far from what you devs are looking to do, but have you thought of adding a little fishing mechanic to earn food? Well, yeah, we did discuss this, and as you said, for now it's far from what we are working on right now. We find this idea lovely. We think it's really interesting, but overall, there are more top priority issues and additions that we are working on right now. Because in the end, if we really edit fishing, how much will it actually add to your gaming experience? You know, not all that much, because you won't spend like excessive amount of time fishing. You will spend most of your time in the encounters and maybe on the shooting range and in the options in your shelter, basically. And the fishing would be a really nice touch, but we will look into it once we have the big stuff off the table.
Exactly. Like we need to fix the stuff that's broken, and there are several things that are already broken, and we need to provide you with some meaningful things to do in the encounters. Like it may be even fishing. Like if you are able to fish while there's a drop falling near you, okay, that may be something interesting, and people may enjoy that. The dangerous fishing of like Outlands. But I don't think that having, for example, fishing in the shelter would be something that would help you in the long run.
We have question from Zizu7. Can we get more stats in the Xbox Club, like how many hours I have played or how many kills I have ADC?
This is something that we've already considered. Like as I mentioned at the very beginning, there are the leaderboards for the stats of collected food. So those things are collected across the seasons of the charity box. So that's currently the only stat that we are tracking in the Xbox Club. But we may possibly add some more in the future. This is something that we are discussing, working on, and we'll see if it's a feasible thing. Like we are still first going to show it to the partners, and then eventually try to get it out.
Trashmon93. I'm sorry about the names. I probably just pronouncing them all wrong, but basically he's saying, started playing this game again since it came out on Game Preview. This game has come so far, however, a couple of suggestions. Combat should be cleaned up and more smooth. Also, teammates should be able to trade items in a match. I was surprised that you can give or receive items. I was surprised that you can't give or receive items from teammates. That should be implemented. Thank you so much for your support. First of all,
thank you.
And thank you so much for the
words,
feedback. We are definitely working and discussing some of the possibilities when it comes to the not trading, but exchanging items with your teammates. So stay tuned for that. As when it comes to the combat, we are always working on improving this. So
indeed, like you've already seen several changes in that direction. Like one of the things that was introduced recently, and it seems to be normal, but we kind of didn't have it at the very beginning, is that if you are crouched, then do some action, like for example jump over the obstacle or something like that, then you are then returning to the crouch, obviously, because you didn't want to cancel a crouch. The same goes for prone. Like if you are trying to get over some obstacle in prone, it doesn't make you stand, because that would possibly kill you, like this. Like there may be someone who's trying to kill me.
Oh, he's running away.
Yeah. But now, if you are in prone, you are going to be kept in the prone no matter what. So it makes it much easier for you, and the movement is much more fluent. The fluency of the movement is something that we are now trying to focus on. So there are going to be changes to make the camera more fluent and stuff like that. Yeah. Indeed, there's a ton of work. Thanks a lot for good suggestions, but we need to make it.
Someone is asking about the leaderboards again. It was already answered, so make sure to check out the VOD of the dev stream so you can get the full info. Do we have any questions? How big is your dev team? That's a nice question, actually, and I don't know the exact number right now.
It's really hard to get the number right because it's always hard to tell who's the part of the dev team and who's not. Like, am I part of the dev team? Like, I'm not doing any actual hands-on work, or at least I shouldn't.
Well,
sometimes I do, but I shouldn't. The same goes, for example, for Pyrit. Like, is she part of the dev team? If yes, then I would say that the team is around 60 people. If I count only people who are actually developing the game and working on the mechanics and stuff like that, it's roughly 40.
Yeah.
Like, there's a ton of people who are doing some necessary support for us. Like, all the people from marketing who are preparing everything for you, the changelogs who are communicating with you, collecting your feedback. Does the work really need it? And there are people for it. The same goes for
video team.
Video team, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I enjoyed the trailer. That was so cool.
Trailers are always really good. I love our video team. But as Pettka said, there are multiple departments working on Vigor. Obviously, you have a whole marketing team, you have our QA, and platform support, and you have all of those other departments also working on it. But at the same time, they are not directly like doing anything with the code.
Yeah. And then there's the stuff at Bohemia itself, like people from accountants and people from IT making everything running smooth. So we don't need to care about those things like my computer's not working or I don't have anything to eat because I didn't get the wage. Yeah, like those are like small but kind of important things, I would say. And those fine people support us in everything. So if you take that all together, the number climbs pretty high, but it's shared in between the projects at Bohemia, so it's really hard to tell how big the team actually is.
And thank you so much for all of the positivity in the chat. Nice, we love you all. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Oh, that's so nice. Dizzy is so excited to play the update tonight. Glad to hear. Glad to hear. Survival devs should not be feeded.
Makes sense. We are trying to hunt for some food. We are the hunters. We were the preppers, now we are the hunters.
Exactly. We have a question that I do not really understand. Is the crate gone now after you kill someone who is carrying it? Because I went to loot it off of him and it was gone. It's possible that he destroyed the crate.
There's always the possibility. I think that we were trying to remove it. I'm not sure if it made it in.
I don't think it made it in.
Like that's something that I would need to give it a try to see if it actually made it in. There was the possibility to destroy the crate. So if someone destroyed the crate, obviously you are not able to get it. Sometimes there were some issues with the crate not being in the loot, even though it should have been there. Those issues, as far as I'm aware, should be already addressed because that was connected to overflowing inventory. Like if you have too many things in the inventory and then you die, then even the ammo of your weapons gets into your inventory, and it may get the crate out of the inventory. But as far as I know, this is already fixed.
But anyway, if it keeps happening, definitely keep mentioning it, so we can see your feedback and jump into it if it's a
Yes,
bug.
please. Yeah, like currently we've seen even some feedback about buying the stuff. Like there were some issues. We identified the issues. Most likely it's not on your end. It may be somewhere in between our partners. So this is something that we are going to solve with them. They are really great at solving those things. So I'm happy to work with people from Microsoft and on. Like it really helps us to get the things going.
Someone is asking, did you guys add more loot, or we still gotta pay to boost the lobby? So I don't think that there was any loot tweaking done when it comes to the amount of loot. Basically, that's what boosters are for.
Yeah, like we did several changes in that regard. Like
not in this update, but in the last updates.
In the last updates, like in this update, there's just some minor additions and tweaks in that regard. But in the previous update, there was the increase of the loot in the levels generally. So that may be possibly the thing that you are asking for.
Yeah. Any new maps being talked about? Yes, we are working on new maps. We cannot share much more info right now, but we are working on it.
Yeah. And as we already discussed before, we are even tweaking the maps that we have already. Like you may have noticed that there are additional spots for buried cache and stuff like that. So those things are still being improved, tweaked, and yeah, we may possibly even tweak them to improve the travel as well. So yeah.
Any questions? Put them in the chat. Will there be more city-focused maps, like a big city map? We understand that you are looking for something more urban-like, so in that regard, we are doing something, but it's definitely not like a big, just big city. I don't know, like Vigor is such a specific game when it comes to the environments and how we want to play around with them and how the game looks. So just, you know, throwing you into a gray city wouldn't do it justice, I think.
Yeah. Like, we really like the environment outside of the city.
Yeah.
Like, we are always trying to work with things like small suburb or something like that. This is something that we work with. And there are some maps where we try to make those things happen. But yeah, we would need to tweak it to be sure that it works as it should. Yay! Do you realize that I've got 4 levels of Battle Pass already?
Ooh,
and
nice!
I can get 1 more to try the crossbow. So let's open some crates.
Yay!
I'm really looking forward to the crossbow.
This was also something that so many of you were asking us to make in game, like some kind of like alternative weapons, and the most mentioned was crossbow. So hopefully you all are going to enjoy it. This is really cool. At least me personally, I really like it. So hopefully you will as well. How about a reward for gold medals in shooting range?
This is something that we considered. On the other hand, we are still tweaking the shooting range challenges because, as you have noticed, we are tweaking the guns as well. So sometimes it may even happen that as we are tweaking all those things, that some of the challenges may be harder to obtain, and some of them may be way too easy. So this is something that we are working on. As soon as we have that stabilized, we may possibly work on even some changes that would avert you with something more, or possibly even like leaderboards, stuff like that.
DBliss357. I've been playing the game off and on since inside the Hub Game Preview full release. I love I have said it everything in one sentence, I'm sorry, but basically since forever. I love the concept and how the immersion of the game. Although the Facebook group is really toxic, the streaming community I came into is the best I've found for any game. Hope the game finds its place to last for a long while. Thank you so much for your support and kind words. When it comes to the Facebook community, I think that it's as with any other community, people love to express their concerns and issues that they have, and obviously also their feedback. Sometimes it's not worded perfectly, but it's nice to see all of the different reactions, and sometimes even like from really angry people we manage to get valuable information if we ask politely and they are willing to explain what exactly is their issue and how they would prefer it.
Yeah, usually if people are angry, that means that the game builds some emotion. So yeah, we are trying to build the emotion in the players and not the anger necessary, but the people are then obviously caring about the game, because otherwise they wouldn't even write down their ideas. So this is something that we need to listen to.
Exactly. Someone was asking about like scopes and attachments, why they cannot like put their own attachments on weapons basically. And you know, this is simply how Vigor works. We have different rarities for weapons, and with all of this like additional tweaking that you could have done yourself, this would change the gameplay rapidly.
Yeah, that's one thing. The other thing is that currently the weapons as they are replaceable. Like if you lose the weapon due to someone being more powerful than you, someone being more able than you in some encounter, then you'll just replace it. But if you customize it way too much, you'll get maybe even attached to the weapon, and then the anger that it provides you if you possibly get killed by even someone who's of more skill, maybe something that you don't like in the end, and make you even rage quit the game, for example, through the controller, through the screen, stuff like that.
We have a question about the fall damage. Keep in mind that fall damage is something that we have tweaked heavily in the past, and right now it's pretty okay from our point of view. That's why we haven't tweaked it in the recent update, and also it does not get mentioned in the community all that often. Obviously, if you find it like too much, or you find that there is an issue with the fall damage, definitely keep mentioning it, because the more times we hear it, the more players mention it, the more priority it will get when it comes to the development, basically. Right now there are not really that many people complaining about fall damage, so we might look into it. Since you have mentioned it, definitely. But the more information we get, the better it is.
One thing that I wanted to mention when I'm looking into this crate is that with the end of the first season, with the preppers, we've added into the crates all the things that were in the season, like the plants, not the cosmetics, because they were exclusive for the season, but the plants, for example, for the transmitter, are now available for you. So you just need to obtain the crate, and then you'll get those cool things like tools, the weapons that were there in the previous season. So this is something that we provide you access to, even though you weren't playing in the previous season, or you weren't able to get all those things. You can still get them. Not for the cosmetics, they are exclusive for the season, obviously. So if you want to have the rainbow knife, you would need to go for it.
We have different perspective on the fall damage. J-Master 333. We should just break our legs when we fall from a high distance and just have to crawl.
That's always the possibility, yeah?
I like this idea. But anyway, since I have seen at least 3 people mentioning it, we will make sure to look into it.
Yes.
Most of the time, I do not think that it is an issue with the fall damage overall, but there might be an issue with some like exact like collisions.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it, but yeah. We will look into it. Thank you for the feedback.
Yes, please. Yeah, keep the feedback coming.
Let's see. Any more questions, guys? We have been streaming already for almost an hour, so if you have any more questions, put them in the chat right now, as we are going to answer last 3 questions. So make sure to write it down and really think about it. So, Zizu7. There's a challenge that is impossible to do. Is the one of the so if the challenge, if you think it's impossible, definitely make sure to mention it somewhere under our post or something like that, or on our forum, Reddit, anywhere, and I will just take the challenge that you mentioned and I will pass it right to our QA, and they will see what they can do, if it's really like uncompletable, and what we can do about it. That's the best way.
Yes, please. Like currently, we are aware of only one shooting range challenge that's not doable.
And it was reported by our partners, I think.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. We weren't able to fix it for this build. I'm sorry for that. But there's a tree in front of the traffic sign, so it's really hard to hit the traffic sign. But that's something that we are going to fix in the next update, I guess, because it's already fixed in our internal version, so it's just about pushing it out.
Yeah. So thank you for asking.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for the game, guys. Great content. Thank you for your support.
Yeah. We wouldn't be able to do it without you.
Sharing with a partner in a game will be cool. Thank you for mentioning that. That we are already looking into all of the possibilities. Last question, guys. Last question. So let's see. Put it in the chat right now if you have any questions.
Didn't notice that this one's not going to get you stuck? Yeah, we are listening to your feedback. Like, we've heard that this can possibly get you stuck. So that's why I ran directly to it, and yeah, you are not going to get stuck anymore. Yay. I'm sorry for all the Outlanders who got stuck there.
So there is a question, nice one. If we get new shelter upgrades, can we get a new resource to go with them? Last time we got new levels, high-level players could just upgrade from their stock without having to play, and that seems kinda lame, LOL. Interesting idea. Definitely thank you for mentioning that.
Like that's always the issue of rubber banding or having the even field. That's even one of the reasons why we decided to go for the current leaderboard in the charity box, to show you the current leaderboard, because otherwise you can even be discouraged to donate the food, because you see there's someone who's at the top of the leaderboard and he has several hundred thousands of food already donated, so it would be hard for you to get there. But if there's a new season every now and then the chances are completely different.
And that was a really nice last question. If we can somehow summarize the changes with the experience.
Yeah. So, generally speaking, we thought about our fantasy of being the hunters, and those hunters are people who are able to live out of the land and who are able to cleanly kill their enemies. So if they are hunting someone, they don't count for just the kill. They go for the clean kill, which means a headshot. So if you kill someone, you get less XP than you were used to. On the other hand, if you headshot someone, you get much more XP. The same goes for living off the land. Like if you are able to loot something, then you are going to get the XP already. You don't need to extract with that. If you extract with some more rare resources, you get XP as well. So you get double the XP for that. And possibly the biggest change is that it's now much easier to level up your battle pass. So there's going to be a bigger portion of players, most likely, who are going to be able to finish the battle pass and get all the rewards. Like, it would still require some effort.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be like taken for granted, but if you are playing the game regularly, you should be able to get to some high level of battle pass quite easily. So we changed the amount of XP per level and how it rises, so that should make it easier for you, both with improving the mechanics on getting the XP and lowering the requirements. Like, I've even heard that it may be too much. Way too easy. Okay.
Well, we will see. Definitely keep the feedback on the XPs and on the whole battle pass coming. We are looking forward to that, and hopefully we manage to answer at least most of your questions. If you have any more, do not forget to put them in the comments on any of our social media, or onto our Reddit or forum or on Discord, and we will make sure to jump into it and answer them. For now, it's pretty much all from us for today. Thank you so much for coming. It was nice seeing so many people in the chat, and see you in post-war Norway. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.